Welcome to the We Can Do It Women movement, where women 60 and wiser step into the spotlight and make the rest of their lives the best of their lives. I'm your host, Debra Morrison, a wealth building expert and champion for extraordinary women just like you. For over 47 years, I've helped women secure their financial futures, and now I'm on a mission to ignite a revolution. Yes, showing the world that at 60, 70, and beyond, some of us might be a nickel slower, yet we're all just getting started. And our esteemed guest today is Lisa Copeland. She's a renowned love coach and dating expert, internationally recognized for helping women over 50 navigate the modern dating world with confidence and joy. I know that might not be everyone's experience of dating, and that's why we've got Lisa here to talk us through this. She has been one of the original dating coaches for women over 50 since 2012. So she didn't just start this yesterday. She's been a trailblazer in this space, empowering thousands of women to find love later in life. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
So nice to be here, Deborah.
Indeed, it is. It's great to have you with us. And I want to give our viewers and listeners some background a little bit so that we have something from which to launch because you have a lot to tell us, and we're all ears. Now, since 2012, which I mentioned, you've helped thousands navigate dating with confidence and joy, and you specialize in helping women over 50 find love and create meaningful relationships. See, so sometimes we do the dating thing and we're a little confident and we're joyful, and maybe we get a notion that it's maybe not going to be quite so meaningful after the second or third week. But you've been featured on Dr. Phil, top media outlets. You bring humor, heart, and wisdom to finding love later in life. You're the author of Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50. Come on, girls, let's be taken part in this. And you've been featured on HuffPost, USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and Dr. Phil, as I mentioned. So you have guided single women to attract the perfect partner. Listen to this, viewers, to attract the perfect partner and create the extraordinary life you've always dreamt of. So you have a free ebook, The 5 Little Known Secrets to Finding a Quality Man at, give us the website. I love this website, Lisa.
It's findaqualityman.com.
Findaqualityman.com. Okay, so it's not really for me because I'm a lesbian, but that's okay. My the viewing audience is largely heterosexual, so they will be right in this read. Talk to us a little bit about what you're relaying in this free ebook, and thank you for writing it.
So my pleasure. I want to give you a funny little thing about the name of my company, and then I'll come back to the ebook. So when I was on Dr. Phil and he's saying the name of my company, he goes, and thank you, Lisa Copeland, for finding. He had a really hard time getting out the words quality man. It was really funny, but he did. That was good.
That is funny. Yeah. Mm.
So the ebook, yeah, the ebook is like a great little jump start if you've been struggling, or it's if you're a newbie at this, it gives you ideas for where to find men, how to flirt, what to do about meeting men in real life. It gives you like a profile template. There's
Uh,
just lots of really good tidbits in there that could just help you feel excited again about dating. Because a lot of women, they're out there dating, they don't always know what they're doing and they get frustrated. This is a nice little jump start. Like I said, whether you've been doing it or you're a beginner.
Well, I am certainly interested in the whole complement of dating advice. So just launch us with some dating do's and don'ts, will you?
Okay, one of the do's you want to do
Yeah.
is to really, really come into yourself in terms of who you are, what you have to offer.
Right.
Because as women, we get out there and we are always comparing ourselves to other women. I mean, how many times have you gone to a party and when you're dressing at home, you go, oh, yeah, I think this looks really great. And the second that you get there, you're comparing yourself to every other woman and you're thinking, oh my God, I don't look so good, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You were going to say something?
No, no. I mean, yeah, it's true. It's true. So be completely present with yourself because really it's our job to sell ourselves, isn't it?
Well, I don't love to use the word sell ourselves because
Okay, come on, correct me, girl.
has
Correct
all
me.
kinds of weird
It does.
implications.
It does.
I
And
think
I kind of pay attention to language, so I'm a little embarrassed, but go right ahead.
it's okay. I feel like the biggest thing is we have to get our inner selves in place because that's what is really reflected on the outside. So what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
If we well, let me put it this way. When we were have you ever seen someone that said, "Oh my God, look at this big pimple I have on my face." Okay? And they're going, where is it? I don't see it. And we're like so ultra focused on our flaws that we forget to really look at the good stuff about ourselves. So, a game that I like women to play is called the 3 to 1 game. And
Mm,
what you do is when you tell yourself something negative, you think of 3 good things about yourself to remind yourself. And by the way, that is very helpful for dating too, because most women go into dates looking for a guy's flaws because they're trying to protect themselves. So I always tell women when you go on a date, find 3 good things about the guy.
nice.
Yeah. But it starts with yourself.
Yes. Yes, because we really we can't we can project things and so forth, and yet ultimately that veil is quickly pierced because it's hard to yeah, well, when you have any intuition at all, you can look at a person and kind of sense, maybe, maybe not, right? And so I'm not sure. Well, I know women that I know have a lot of that intuition, right? So I don't know. Presumably guys have that as well. But talk to us about how, and I read somewhere along here, you want to address finding a man and you want to allow him to be a man. Talk to me about that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, I was married twice, and in between the 2 marriages, I was also in a relationship.
Okay.
And my first marriage, that's the dad of my children.
Okay.
And in that marriage, we were very young when we got married. So, I mean, I was like 21 barely and just graduating college. And I mean, really, I got married within 3 weeks of graduating college. So we were young, we had nothing. So we were building a life together. And I
Yes.
think our roles at that time were more equal in terms of we created the roles for ourselves.
Absolutely.
So, and I was very powerful because truthfully, his ideal of love was work,
Ah,
and he left everything else, and providing for his family, and he left everything else to me at home. So I was pretty powerful. I am woman, let me roar. I
yes.
got into this relationship um, between those 2 marriages, and I really did emasculate the guy. I didn't realize I was, but I was.
Okay.
So as we broke up, I broke it off and he's leaving. Was living with me for a while. And as he's leaving, he says, you don't know how to let a man be a man. And I said, I'm thinking in my head, you are so crazy. I've always gotten along really well with men. And I just, chalked it up to he was mad or bitter.
Yes. Of course.
Okay. Well, along came marriage number 2, where I really emasculated him, but didn't know it. We don't realize always that we're emasculating men. And again, remember, I was so powerful in that first marriage and I did go back and ask my ex-husband, did I emasculate you? And he said, no. I would never have let you. But it's more of we had those roles defined. So I got into the second marriage, and when that one ended, because it was based on total chemistry, and we could talk about chemistry relationships if you want,
Mhm.
but he too said, you don't know how to let a man be a man. And then I thought, I need to look at this. I need to see what's going on. And they were right. So women might think, okay, so did you have to dim your power after that?
No.
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 If you're smart, you're successful, really good men are proud of you for doing that. What they don't like is you directing them and
Ah,
telling them what to do.
okay. Okay. All right.
And the difference between the sexes is women process things. Men are wired to fix things.
Of
And when
course.
you're not, and make your life easier for you. And when you're not letting them do that, you're really emasculating them because that's what they're wired to do. They really want to make you happy. And let me give you a tip here, because if a man is, if you're trying to tell a man a story, for example, and you're going, oh God, he's going to fix again. I just know he's going to fix. Yeah, that's what he's wired for. So what you could do to stop that from happening, excuse me, is you can just say, oh, can I share something with you? And I don't need anything fixed. I really just need to get this out. And
Yeah.
it'll only take me a couple minutes. Like, don't go into a long story you would with another woman, because women process, men are always, where should this be fixed?
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that is so true. Now, yeah, I always write down notes as you're speaking. So you say, don't direct a man. However, how many times in this, excuse me, heteropatriarchal society do men direct women? So how did you find that coming back? And how can you set the boundaries so that it's a healthy relationship?
That's a really good question. First of all, I think it's the type of man you choose.
Yes.
Okay, so there are women that want to be in that patriarchal
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays, there's also a lot of women that are very successful,
Yeah.
and they can hold their own and do it better and faster than a guy can. Okay. So the way is to really understand the way men think and the language that they speak and hear. And when you do that, if you do it from that understanding that it's not the same way you do it,
Mm.
but it's the way they, the way that they hear it that makes the difference.
Yes.
And instead of saying, I always love saying this, it's called the four magic words. And women, successful women, have the worst time saying this because they think it makes them look weak.
Okay.
And it's, I need your help.
Ah.
It's not, could you help me? Because who used to say, could you help me? Their mom.
Oh.
Or could you please help me? So, my first husband would say, you're ordering me. And I said, how am I ordering you? I say, please, because, we were taught to be so polite. And he couldn't explain it. It wasn't until after these other two men said, you're, not letting a man be a man, that I got it. Because when we say, could you please help me? That is, or could you please bring the chairs up from downstairs? That sounds like their mom. And so
Yeah.
that's why it sounds like an order. To us, if I said to you, Deborah, could you please help me move these chairs? What would you say?
Right now.
Of course, because women are community oriented and
Thank
men are there to make your life easier. They're very focused on making you happy. So when I've shared, I need your help with women, they nearly threw up. They're like,
you.
you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But when you say that, it triggers in a man that they can make your life better. To us, it triggers, I'm coming across as weak,
Yeah.
but you're not. And that's what we have to understand, that we're not coming across as weak. So, yesterday, here's an example of that.
Yeah.
I went and helped my daughter at her school yesterday set up her room. And we're walking out because I'm ready to leave. I've had enough. I've been
Yeah.
there
I've
three
had a few
hours.
parents talk to me lately.
I've been there 3 hours. So, okay, so she's taking a box out to put in her car, and she's just walking out with me to my car. And this guy is there, and he says to her, you want some help with that bin? She goes, oh no, I've got it. That's what we all do. And I said, honey, you should have said yes. She goes, why would I say yes? I'm going like, why do you want to schlep that big heavy box, so far through this building? And it was far.
Thank
So when
goodness.
we let a man help us, and then we say to them, oh my God, thank you, I so appreciate it. You have to appreciate,
Yeah.
they will step up. When we say no continuously, we're actually training them to stop helping us and stop giving to us. And then we become resentful
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we end up doing everything.
And that, Lisa, you're really, really striking a chord here because I'm just processing and saying to myself, pretty soon you're going to end up living two very individual lives, and yet you're perceived as a couple because you can do everything.
Yeah,
Because you say no enough to a person, they're not even going to, say it
you're not
again.
going to ask.
And so now we have the neuron pathways, grooved even deeper. All right, so that's good. Now let's get into particulars because you're the expert. Distinctive three step. Dr. Phil's Deborah can't even put up three, and she has 47 years in finance. Okay, three step system called the dating blueprint. Talk to us about this: mindset mastery, strategic connection, and relationship readiness. Wow, that's a mouthful. Talk to us through that.
Wow, where did you find that? Because I
I,
don't really even call it that.
well, I took my shovel and I had some archaeological dust on it after I was done. But so talk to us about
But
how
I can give that to you. So I want to use the terms that you use because go ahead.
mindset mastery,
Yeah,
strategic connection,
yeah.
relationship readiness.
Okay, yes, I call them something different.
Okay,
So
let's bring out your new names. Let's do it.
yeah, I like this. Okay, first of all, the mindset, which is where we sort of started with the one do that we did. And part of the why mindset is so important is because our brain is always trying to keep us safe. So our
Yes,
brain tells us stories that aren't true.
yes,
So we'll say, like, I'm not enough. That is the biggest mindset we all run.
yeah,
And it can go back to like, I can remember I was never athletic, you know. So I can remember in playing kickball, and I was always the last one picked because I'm
yeah,
not athletic. So we drag that kind of stuff through forever of I'm not enough, you know, from when we were little because an incident happened or a teacher said something to us, or a parent said something to us, and then we took it on as our identity.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you heard me just say I'm not athletic, and
yeah.
that I mean, I'm really not, but you know, it's something I, because of experience, I experienced over and over again as a
Mhm.
kid that I still hold that. And in
Yeah.
fact, here's a funny thing. So when I first started dating after my first divorce, and we were married 24 years though, he
Mhm.
was athletic. In fact, I even said to him, "Do you think I could play pickleball?" He said, because back in the day, he tried to teach me tennis, and I practically stumbled over myself.
That's hard. That's really hard. Tennis is a hard sport to learn.
But he said, yes, you could play it. I thought, yes, you know. But anyway, so oh, all right. So I'm trying to think where my thought was with all this. I got myself off on a tangent.
Well, you were talking about mindset.
Yeah,
And
I do know that, but it was had specifically it was the funny story. So I went on eHarmony at the time, and you had to fill out this very long thing. You still have to
yes, you
fill
do.
things out. But one of the questions was if someone would say what you were great at, what would it be? And all these men would write, I'm athletic, I work out.
Yeah.
And you know, I am sitting there as I'm not athletic, I'm not enough. So I called eHarmony. They had never had someone do this before. I called eHarmony and I said, could you stop sending me guys that are so athletic?
Oh,
And it
that's
was because I was coming from the mindset of I'm not enough. I can't keep up with them or I
oh,
can't do what they want.
mhm.
This is how we bring mindset through and into our dating lives as we're out there. I'm
Okay.
not pretty enough. Men aren't going to like me because of my age. And I will tell you that I've had clients marry men 10 years younger than them. I've had clients date men older than them. It's what it is how you feel inside yourself. This is what you're
Right.
going to attract.
Right there.
Okay. So it's really about cleaning up your, like I mentioned a few times, your inner world, because that is what reflects out there. It is a vibration that goes out there. And so that's number one. Does that all
Yeah.
make sense?
Yep, totally.
Okay. The second thing about connection is really about understanding men and knowing who you want.
Ah,
So most women go out there and they kind of think they know who their type is. Yeah, they definitely know who their type is. It's the guy they've always dated a zillion times that never worked out. They could have been married to them, they could have lived with them,
could have
but
been their dad.
yeah, it could be a parent that they're working out issues from. Absolutely. And so they go out there and they're looking for their old type. And, you know, they'll look at a guy at the bar and they'll go, He's not my type. Well, how do you know? Because what we're doing, we're looking at him, by the way, and we're thinking about we don't where we're not adequate enough to go up to him. But anyway, you don't know if he's your type or not. So I help women understand in this connection part
Yeah.
who their old type is, because if their old type worked, they'd be with them. So they got to identify their old type and why they dated the same guy over and over again in different clothes, different hair, different shoes.
Mic drop, mic drop. If you're old guy, if the type is the old guy type, it didn't work then, and don't be looking forward to it. Okay, keep going.
Right. And then we start again and we get really clear on what excites you today. Because when we were younger, we were building this world of houses, cats, kids, dogs, careers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Today, over 50, it's really coming into a time that is not usually young children.
Yeah.
It's children that are, it's parents that are empty nesters, maybe seniors in high school or whatever, when you're in your 50s. But a lot of it's empty nesters. It's a time to play. It's someone you want there to support you as through life's challenges and life's wondrous things that happen. And it could be a really great time, but you don't need the guy, your old type anymore. It doesn't fit where your life is today.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Mark.
So that's number two. And number three, relationship readiness, that really comes into how to attract the guy.
Okay.
And that is more of like, are you going to date online? Are you going to tell the world you're single? Are you
Mhm.
going to use a matchmaker? Are you going to go out in real life and just start talking to people? That is figuring out how to flirt again, how to have fun doing this, and how to get out there and find the right guy that you can now identify because you feel good about yourself and you know who you don't want and who you do want. And then you know how to navigate everything, whether, for finding him, whether it's online dating or whether it is meeting a guy in real life.
Yeah, I like that. And then what I was reading was that it's in this stage, Lisa, that we're really setting boundaries. Like how much, I know you coach people one-on-one and then you have some structured programs. So regardless, structured program or one-on-one, how do you get through to women that it's important to have boundaries?
Okay, I do one-on-one and I do a group. So I assume that's the structured thing you're talking about, the
Yes,
structure. Yeah. So boundaries. We have a very hard time setting boundaries
I
as
know.
women. It's
Yeah,
because we're people pleasers. That's the big thing. Although I have to tell you, I think younger women are not so much.
yeah,
They really will stand up and say, no. But we were brought up to be, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. So and that gave us the reward. Oh, you're such a good girl, like we're a
yes,
dog, so
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
you're such a good girl. All right. So we're people pleasing. So one of the ways, a great way to set a boundary is number one, you need to know what your boundaries are. You cannot wait until you're on the date and suddenly go, I don't know what to do.
yeah,
So let's say it's about when you would start kissing a guy if you guys liked each other. Get clear on when that is.
right now.
And then if a guy is too forward, you need to say something like, I just feel really uncomfortable right now. I would love to get to know you better. And then we could go, I would just like to get to know you better. And it's just the key is if a man blows past that and tries again or gets mad at you, he's not a quality man.
Right there.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
yeah,
So it's really, again, starts with you and what you need to know. And I do want to tell you one thing though about meeting men.
yeah,
So most women go into the dating world and they think they know their type. And they also want to feel an instant attraction or instant chemistry.
yes,
The issue with this is it's a lie.
yes, of course.
People that we have instant attraction and chemistry with, we will trust them before they're trustable.
Oh, I love that. So good. Oh,
So
that is so good.
So what you really want to do is you want to go on a date with the intention of, I'm just going to meet someone new and interesting, and I'm going to find out different things about them. So the way this works so well is I've had clients that thought men were absolute duds when they first met them.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, well, let's be friends. It's okay." They thought maybe they were friend world. And they ended up marrying the guy because they got to know his personality, trying to figure something out on a first date in a coffee, 20, 30 minutes. You don't know anything about them,
No.
except they might be awkward because it's a first date.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I love that. That we love people before they're proven trustable. That's
Yep.
that's what I noted. Amazing. Yeah, because I'm just listening, and your whole approach seems to, Lisa, mix the practical strategies and then the emotional support, right? Because they're very, very intertwined. Talk to us about how you can encourage women to stop second guessing themselves.
Again, that's back to the people pleasing and going to the party where you don't feel enough. And it really goes to I'm not enough. So
Right now.
the people pleasing causes us to second guess our decisions because someone might go, "No, that's a terrible decision," or "No, I disagree with you. You should do this." And then we start thinking, "Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't do this right." And it really does all come back down to getting confidence in yourself and getting clear in yourself about what you want. And don't compromise yourself. I mean, don't stop the people pleasing. And I'm telling you, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I know how hard this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people push back when you decide you're not going to let them push you anymore.
Mhm.
But that's when you really hold your ground and they come to respect you for that.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. You're wise to point out the generational differences, because women, to your point, your daughter said no to the guy, carry the big heavy thing. The women raised in the 60s and 70s, we wanted to be acting independently, burning the bras and whatnot. I mean, burning the bras is just a stupid thing, but I don't even know why I said that. Being feminist and really having to take our stand, right? Because it was a perilous time for women. And then, more recently, we're coming into an age where women are out earning and whatnot, and have capabilities that maybe they hadn't developed with such passions and so forth before. So I think it's coming into a season which has great potential if there's nimbleness on both sides. I don't know, I'm just guessing. It feels like a great opportunity with how women have progressed. And I don't know if men have kept up. Talk to me about that. What's your experience? Have men kept up with the fact that the woman may, in fact, out earn him, and that's okay? Thank you very much.
I think that varies man to man.
Okay,
It depends also on their insecurities of I'm not enough.
right now.
We all come into this, I'm not enough.
Okay,
But I
gotcha.
think the biggest thing is the gender roles that our generation grew up with.
Yeah,
And we carried some of those with us into marriages of our own.
yeah,
And I remember, I always did, like I said, I always did everything at home, the laundry, just the food shopping, everything. And I think that's so ingrained in us, it's really hard for us to say, I'm not going to do this anymore this way. And I think we have to start coming up with new paradigms. Like I watch my daughter-in-law, and she's amazing. And so is my kids are amazing. My son is too. But what was interesting to watch was my son was going off to work and she was taking care of the kids. And she insisted that he still, they worked it out together. It wasn't just her.
mhm,
But she would say, they figured out a way to not get into gender roles. And, he changed diapers, he helped cook. And I see that with my nieces and their husbands as well. Same thing. It's a much more balanced relationship. But
yes,
because this is so ingrained in us, we'll go to work and come home and do those same female gender roles, thinking that we have to. We'll do his laundry while he sits and watches a baseball game,
yeah,
which is ridiculous. So
yeah,
it really comes to we have to put out there, I need your help. because men really do respond to it. I need
Mhm.
your help. They will get up and do for you. And if you're ever out there, like I've been on a plane, I was on a plane recently and I had such a heavy suitcase that went up in the compartment thing. I turned around, there was a guy behind me, and I said, could you do me a favor? That's the five magic words, by the way. Could you do me a favor?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I said, could you do me a favor? I can't get this up there. That's all I said. And he said, I'll take care of it because they're wired to help you. He put
That's
it up there. I said, oh my God, thank you so much. The plane lands. We're standing. He goes, you want me to get that down for you? I said, oh, I appreciate it. I probably bopped 85 people in the head with it. It's us learning to say yes to them, not
right.
to say I can do it. That's our biggest enemy. I can do it because then we lose their cooperation and their help. And
Yeah.
I have to add one more thing. I
Yeah.
think we do need to redefine, like I said before, new paradigms about
Yeah.
how this should go in the future. But we have to get clear on being enough to stand up to what we really want in that relationship. And the other thing is relationships are not set in stone. When we were younger, we had to get married if we wanted to have babies, or we were like, oh,
Yeah.
it's scandalous.
That exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, girls today aren't like that. They have babies. But anyway, we can redefine the way a relationship looks. I want
Mhm.
to give everyone listening to this permission, redefine how you want it to look. You
Love that.
you get to have choice here.
Yeah.
And it's us relearning how to negotiate with men. And if a man doesn't want to do it and it's not working well for you, maybe it's time to move on. If he's going back to the old gender roles and you don't want to be in those gender roles.
Right. And how do you find is a best practice, if there is one, for women and or men to address the other in a spirit of, hey, I noticed a difference. Like, let's say we start and, we're kind of in the initial infatuation stages and so forth, and everything is fine until it starts to not be. And so then how do we, I would think it's much more valuable being from a coaching standpoint, such as yourself, to address these just to kind of as the stuff starts to shift. So let's say he reverts back to a more traditional gender role and sits there and watches the ball game while she is doing the dishes and raising the kids. How do you suggest that women broach this in conversation in order to say, hey, we're all shifting, society's shifting, shift with me, without pissing them off?
Well, first of all, worrying about whether you'll piss him off is the biggest problem because you've already put out there, I'm going to piss him off. You know,
I love that. Yeah. All right. How do you do it for the best results?
There, that's part of mindset because what we focus on is
Will
bound
come
to happen.
right now. Right now.
Um,
You can see why I'm not the person to probably interview me here because I'm lesbian. But there we go. You're giving me great feedback and I appreciate it greatly.
you're sweet. Thank you. Okay, so I guess this has to come up as you're getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And you're going to watch the things he does or doesn't do and ask for help. I mean, you are not weak when you ask for help. Not could you help me though? I need your help. And a good guy is like, well, let me give you a little story here about what a good guy does. I was
Yeah.
at a conference and I was sitting with my guy friend. He's from Quebec, or Montreal. His name is Jean. I haven't seen him in years, so I forget which city. Okay. And my friends come over and they go, oh my God, Lisa, we need to take a picture of the two of us, of the three of us. I go, okay. And I turned to Jean and I said, Jean, we need your help. Can you take a picture of us? He said, I love when a woman asks me for my help. And they do. Men want to help you. We train them not to over and over and over again because guess what? We can do it better, we can do it faster, and they're not doing it our way. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
They're
Exactly.
not doing it our way.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Now, you also talk about the importance of community and group support. So, talk to us about how that works because so often, and this happens when a person gets widowed or divorced or is never married, whatever, but singles then are much ingrained in a community of marrieds. And so, how can a single reach out to the community and say, hey, help me? And how would they ask for help? And what would the help be coming from the community, for example?
So I remember when I first got divorced, and I would ask friends, do you know anyone who's divorced? You need to create a social group. You
Good.
can still go out with your married couple friends. It's going to feel really weird at first. You're going to feel like a third wheel, a fifth wheel, a seventh wheel, whatever the number is.
The odd numbers, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're gonna feel really awkward. Everybody is used to you being with that person. When you bring someone new in for the first time, again, it's awkward. They will have comments about it, criticism about it. So this is why it's really important to start to create a community of single friends.
Yes.
And one, so you have things to do, activities, people to do activities with. You have, you can call. I suggest making what's called a friends list.
Oh,
Don't
good.
do it when you need to have someone to go do something.
Yeah.
You create a friends list of the go-to people. Who can I go to a movie with? Who can I go out to dinner with? Okay. And you need to be proactive. So I used to feel like in the beginning, because people won't do it. They just won't do it. And I used to feel like a lesbian asking women if they wanted to go out.
Right. I know. Exactly. Exactly.
But what was so nice about it was they're in the same boat you are. They're going through the same things you are. Married friends want to be supportive, but they don't know what you're going through. And you also have someone then to go out with, when you're not dating, which you don't want to be dating the second you get divorced. You need to heal all that.
Right now.
Decide.
Mm.
But that's the first thing to do is you want to start to bring in call a group of female friends.
Yeah.
Also, you make friends with guys that you don't have any romantic interest with, and the thing that is so good about that is you're still around male energy.
That's it. That's right.
And, you can practice I need your help and watch them like go, okay, how can I do this for
Exactly.
you? Who
Exactly.
knows? Like one of my clients who thought he was a dud, you might get married to him because he seems like the most gorgeous guy in the world once you get to know him.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
and if you want to go out with married friends, you're going to have to ask them too. Hey, you guys want to go out on a weeknight or a Friday night sometime? And I think it's really crushing for women when they're single because they lose that status of the married community that they've had so long. A lot of women are no longer invited to parties
right
that
now.
used to happen. They just lose their social world, especially if a lot of it was with especially with a divorced ex-husband, they lose that. And so this is why it's really important to really make new friends, get out there and do activities you always wanted to do but never had the time. You can
Yeah.
make friends through those activities.
Yeah.
And you have to be proactive. You have to ask people, are you free? Do you want
Yeah.
to go out sometime?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Right now.
And they'll be like, oh yeah, I do. Thank you. Because they're too afraid to do it.
Yeah. Or like asking friends, hey, what do you like to do? Like there's meetups for everything. There's meetups
Yeah.
to go to movies, there's meetups to hike, there's meetups to photography and all. So I think meetups are great. But I want to ask you, when you're in a couple and then you're not, whether well, if it's a death, that's a whole different thing. But let's say it's a divorce or a breakup. How do you venture into making those contacts with the friends that you had as a couple? Because like there's sides that are taken, because there's two sides to every story. So if the guy is telling all of your mutual friends that did a horrible thing and are like a ridiculous woman, then, it's going to be pretty hard for you to go back to your friends and ferret out who is going to continue to be a friend to you. How can you discern that um,
You'll
in
know.
the least painful way?
You'll just know. You're going to know who's going to take sides for you and against you. And that's why, again, it's important to start making new friends too.
Yeah. Okay.
And your married friends, the women, if they're taking your side, you can still go out with them too. But most married women don't leave their husbands our age to go out to dinner,
Yeah.
because they've been with their husband for dinner for 50 years or whatever. And some do, but most will go out to lunch. It's getting creative with how you can be social during this period of time.
Right. Now I want to go to how to stay safe, right? Let's write a profile for whatever social media we're going to go on dating. And how do we stay safe? Because, I mean, I just saw a video, when a woman, pings somebody, another woman that's passing them by, and if they have enough sense, the pinged woman turn around and the woman gives the signal. You tell me the signal. It's something like, you're
Oh, I don't know the signal, but yes, I've seen it
say, I
too.
need help, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a society in which, women could be taken advantage of. How can we stay safe while still extending ourselves on the social media sites?
Well, there's two things about staying safe. One is just like a regular date, and one is scammers, staying safe from scammers. Which would you like to talk about first?
Either or both. Yeah,
Yeah, all right, let's talk about scammers.
let's do it.
Okay, scammers are on all the dating sites, all the apps. Uh, a way to kind of identify them pretty quickly is one, their picture's too good to be true.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I always tell women, go to Google Image, take his picture and go to Google Image, and you'll see it often comes from someone else's picture on Facebook, on a dating site, whatever.
Okay, so I didn't know this. Googleimage.com or something. What is it?
It's just Google Image. You can bring up Google it, Google Image, and
Okay.
then download the picture into Google Image
And
or
Google
upload
Image,
it rather.
it's
Yeah,
really
right.
Ralph instead of Jim.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, they steal pictures.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead. Woo,
The
all
other way they steal pictures is they steal models' pictures. And you can tell who they are because they'll have like some kind of accessory, whether it's a hat. Most guys don't go out wearing like hats and take pictures in hats. I mean, some do, but not most. Sunglasses, um, holding wine, bottles of beer. Those are usually models, or there's architecture behind them.
right. Yeah,
They also tell you they're a doctor out of the country on an oil rig, military.
military.
Yeah, if somebody's out of the country, but they claim they live near you, say, I only date people that are when they're in the country. Call me when you come back if you want.
Yeah,
And
right now.
that stops that. Also, I encourage women to meet a guy within 2 weeks of initial contact.
Good.
Scammers can't meet you, they can't leave.
That's right.
And what's made it harder is they used to get you from writing in an email to the phone because they have beautiful British accents.
Mhm.
And as Americans, we fall in love with that.
I
But
know.
now they do a lot of it through AI technology, and they can write beautifully. You don't know anymore.
Yeah.
But you can do things like, oh, they may say they have grandchildren. Oh, send me some pictures of your grandchildren. Well, then they will never be in the pictures because they don't have grandchildren.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
So,
good.
and if they ever talk money, I mean, this is how I was
No
on Dr.
money.
Phil. It was about scamming. If they ever talk money, you just hang up and block them.
Yeah, right now. Okay,
So
good.
that's how you stay safe from them. And don't get involved in long phone conversations. They will hook you that way too.
Yes, that is so it's smarmy, but boy, they have a way. And I know two people that got hooked into long phone conversations, and then there's just no redeeming. Okay, so let's talk about the other way. How to stay safe, like on a date.
Yeah. Well, number one, before you go on the date, you do want the guy's name and his phone number. Okay. And you want to tell a friend, you need a
That's
safety
it
person.
right
You
now.
want to tell a friend, I'm going on this date. Here's who it is. And if a guy says, I'm not going to tell you my last name, just say, okay, my friends, they insist I get a last name and a phone number. Otherwise, I can't go out with you. And then you don't want to go out with a guy that's saying to you, I'm not respecting your safety. So that's one way. You can also use a Google Voice number. You have to create a Gmail account, but
Okay.
you can get a Google Voice number, and the Google Voice number hides your identity.
Nice.
So unless you put in your Gmail account because texts come through email a lot of times in your Gmail account.
Okay.
So you don't want your Gmail account to say like mine should not say Lisa Copeland. You know, it's
Right.
like then they can start looking you up.
Yeah, for sure.
But you also need to tell them if you're using a Google Voice, you can say, can I share something with you? Saying those words, can I share something with you? It is not lowering you. What it's doing is letting him trigger into what does she need me to do for, how can I make her life easier?
Yeah.
So can I share something with you? Right now, I use a Google Voice number until I get to know someone better. And then I'm happy to share my real number because they're not going to be able to find you through that Google Voice number.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good advice.
And
Okay.
you do not have to give your last name. And
Oh,
by
no.
the way, if they have your real cell phone number, they can go check you out all over the place on the internet.
I know. Yeah, that's a great tip. Thank you. So you have the little ebook, and you have also you developed educational resources, workshops, and so forth and so on. Tell our audience how they can reach you and find you, buy your stuff. You have a audio CD series, Understanding Men 101. Is that yours?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
four secrets to finding Mr. Right. All right. So spill the beans. How can we find these?
On my website, findaqualityman.com. It's all there. I mean, and you can, sign up for that five little known secrets. You'll start to get my blogs every week. They're filled with lots of tips, lots of advice. And I've had women follow my blogs for 10 years and then come work with me. They'll go, "Oh, I was finally ready to do this," because they feel they're not ready. The thing is about readiness, by the way, to date,
Yeah.
you definitely want to take time to heal from a relationship.
Right now.
If you still have feelings of sorrow or anger, don't go out and date because you're going to reattract the same type of
Mhm.
person you just left because you have to finish the healing.
Mhm.
So that's really, really important to do, to give yourself some time before you go out there. You want to be neutral about an ex because you don't want to go on that first date and complain about them.
Well, that's true for sure. And I found I'm a certified grief coach, and I speak a lot to the widow community. And I think that when widows date widows, there's at least one common thing, well, they both have, suffered a significant loss, and they're not going to run into somebody's ex in aisle 5 at the grocery. So it's kind of like a whole different universe, and I think that's a benefit, right? Because they have this empathy that's really a mutual. I mean, circumstances vary, yet there's this empathy that is really, I think, core. And a lot of widowed people do marry widowed people, and I think for that reason. So just throwing that out.
I've seen it both ways.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, tell me the counter.
The counter. Oh, no, 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 no. I've seen divorced people marry widowers or widows, whether
Okay.
they're male or female. That's what I meant.
Okay, fair enough.
And widow and widower married. Yes, I've seen both. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying both ways.
perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. So obviously after we're over age 50, our bodies are changed. They aren't as they were at age 20. I don't even want to make a judgment call. They aren't as they were. And I think it's all mostly in our eyes, although that's silly. Well, there's a socialization that continues to give roles on Hollywood films to younger, and we have a few outliers that are busting through barriers and continuing to shine in their later years. We're all about that. Yet the aspect of how you nuance, Lisa, the advice in terms of dating, you obviously have a whole series, whole decades of clients, and the stories you have must be amazing. Tell us about one of the best stories where a person may have come in thinking, oh, I don't know, there's hope for me, and it turned out well.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna kind of combine a few stories together with people. I
Good.
mean, I've had women come to me that haven't dated in a year, 10
Okay.
years, 20 years.
Woo.
And they come in and they learn how to date again and they end up in great relationships. I've had women that lost husbands through death and it could be a bit of a challenge for them because they're really out there looking for their late husband in a different body. And that's really hard. And the biggest thing is that they have to, that's why that getting a clear vision of the right person, right man for you is so important because when you started the journey when you were younger, you were looking for different things. So you don't
Yes.
bring that past, like I said before. I've had women in their 70s get married. I had a woman call me or write to me and she said, "Dear Lisa, I wanted to just let you know I got married last night and I just had to tell you." I've had other women tell me I had a woman, she was in a terrible, well, she was in a relationship for 2 years. It wasn't terrible. It's just they really weren't totally a fit.
Okay.
And she ended up breaking up, but there were things that were good in it, but it really didn't fit her clear vision. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times we create this clear vision and then we put the square peg in the round hole and go back to our old type. But
Yeah.
so she learned from that. I call those practice relationships. And one day I got a Facebook message from her, and she says to me, "Look at the house I just bought with my guy. We're getting married." And it's like, oh my God. So I, stories like this, and not everyone gets married. People live together. And by the way, you don't even have to live together now. You
That's
have choice. You can be in a long-term committed relationship living apart
right.
because people get used to doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they want the companionship when they want it. And when they don't, bye, see you tomorrow.
Right now, right now. Well, I have a whole lot of things to say about checking that out financially with your financial professional because it's
Oh,
best just to know all of the ramifications of marriage, whether you live in the same address or house or not. So that's I want to throw in some financial caution because I don't want a woman being in a relationship for 20 years, he dies and she has nothing of his pension. His pension just goes into a vacuum. It's gone.
mhm.
So I just want to protect older women, particularly. Um,
Yeah.
and
But
I
that's for marriage. That's for
yes,
marriage.
yes, exactly.
I mean, people that are not married, that isn't, there's different issues with that too. But yes, there's
There,
lots of legal issues when you're married. Lots.
well, then also the 10-year, oh,
Mm.
what the heck is it called?
Social Security.
No, no, no. Yeah, that's that. But there's the assumption that you are married after you've been living together for 10 years,
Oh,
which pretty much, locks you up to.
common law.
Get financial advice is my.
Mhm.
I'm going to bring that in. So before you did the coming out as a dating coach, congratulations, we so need it, for 50-year-old and older when or wiser women. You worked as a portrait photographer and served as a spiritual care volunteer at hospice and university hospitals. When I read that, I just thought, wow, you do have that empathy and that service gene, right? And you've got to be creative. And so I commend you for bringing those attributes into and honing them over the years and over the clients and the individuals and the groups to becoming a person that really is giving a lot of women a bigger shot at happiness. And that's how I distill it. How do you see
Love that. I never really thought of that. But yeah, like I can look at women's pictures and say, or yes and no. I was a photographer, and the hospice thing. Well, I just have always had a lot of empathy when it comes and compassion for people.
yourself?
And yeah, women will say to me, "Oh my God, I couldn't have done this without you." It's like you just knew how to support me in the hardest times. And that always just touches my heart
Of course it does.
because it's like, I get off the phone with them and I say, "Yes, this is why I do this, to make a difference." Because women want love. They tell me, "I don't know what to do. That's why I'm talking to you. I just don't know what to do." Or I'm so freaking frustrated because nothing's worked.
Yeah.
And yeah, we only know what we know. And there's a lot we don't know. So I know in my own life, I hire coaches to help me see what I can't see. I think I love learning. So, and I
Uh,
love teaching too.
Well, I have learned a lot, and I take a page full of notes, and I will drop many of those in the Facebook group. Well, I invite women to go to Lisa's face website, findaqualityman.com, and get signed on to receive her newsletters and her information. I thank you so much for being with us and landing um, some of the updated tips and tools around dating, because it is it is a situation I find analogous to when a woman has made a misstep financially and she kind of can't forgive herself. She's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I messed up," and like, "Oh, I already did that marriage, I got divorced." And I think I want to embody this whole forgiveness mindset, right? Forgive ourselves.
Absolutely.
Forgive ourselves. No judgment. No judgment. You had your responsibility, he had his responsibility. Didn't work. Better to be separated than to be with someone with whom it's a difficult journey, because life is really too short.
I agree.
So, Lisa, you've been most gracious with your time and your advice. We honor you and celebrate your work. And if anybody is between relationships, which infers that you're going to have another relationship, call Lisa, because she's going to be able to help you through whatever could be an impediment, because why not get there sooner? All righty. So I thank you for your time, as I said, and I want to invite anybody to contact Lisa at her website, as I've indicated. And I thank you for joining us on the We Can Do It Women show. Remember, I see you, I value you, and your greatest chapter is just beginning. If today's episode sparks something in you about inviting yourself to look outside and find a partner, I so encourage you to do that, because life is not a dress rehearsal. So until we meet again, be courageous, forgive yourself, and explore, because there's no time is a limited asset, and I want us to use it wisely. So invest your time in something that's going to have the probability of bringing you great reward, and that could be the richest relationship you've ever had. Thank you and good day.